from the East Coast, the one, the only Dr. Rob Zatechka. How was your East Coast trip, man?
It was great. That was really cool. I mean, number one, I mean, I sound like a total empty nest parent here right now that hasn't seen their kid in a little over a month, but it's one of those, I haven't seen my kid in a little over a month, so it's kind of cool to get out there and see Piper, and she's kind of getting settled in at Lehigh. And
well, you sent me a picture. You went to a Lehigh football game, a really cool stadium.
It's totally cool setup.
And cheap beer. I was surprised at how cheap the beer was.
Yeah, and it's good. They got a bunch of, I think it's about 3 or 4 different kind of some of those Eastern Pennsylvania craft breweries right in the area there. So they got all of those there, and Miller Lite.
And Miller Lite. And not Michelob Ultra, because did you see where Michelob Ultra is now the number 1 selling beer in America? Michelob Ultra. Number 1 beer in America.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's all the CrossFitters trying to watch their carb.
I mean, Michelob Ultra is, do you remember, you're my age. I'm a little bit older than you, but we're about the same. Do you remember when Michelob was like a cool beer, when it was like this heavy beer, had that brown.
Michelob,
yeah.
Not Mich Ultra.
Yeah, no, but Michelob was like this cool, had the golden foil on top of it.
Your dad had it in the garage fridge.
Yes. I mean, it was class. And then all of a sudden they sold out for people who wanted to drink water.
Well, I mean, I like Bud Heavy. PBR won a blue ribbon for a reason.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Owen drinks like Hams and PBR every once in a while.
Hams is great.
Yeah, I'm not drinking beer yet. I mean, you dove into you finally got into the beer fridge, and
so I got an Oak Park Brewing out of Sacramento. This is the Hoppenheimer.
That is a gift from Tony Fuccinero, who gifted us with beer, but more you with beer, because you helped him out with...
Tony's a great guy.
That was 2 surgeries ago, not the most recent surgery. Not to break any HIPAA rules, but that was 2 surgeries ago. That's been sitting a while, but it's been.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's really good. So, no, it was a fun trip. So where Lehigh's at there, it's Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. You got Lehigh, Allentown, Easton, all right there. You're kind of like if you draw a line from New York City to Philly.
Yeah.
And then you go about like 10 miles west of the midpoint of that line. That's where Bethlehem, Allentown's at. But great beer scene, really good food. It's maybe only, it's barely an hour from where we lived when I was with the Giants.
Okay. So you knew it pretty well.
So you kind of know that area a little bit, okay, here's where you go here, and et cetera. So it was kind of a little old home. Now, the other thing that was interesting about it, too, is that, so it's Parents' Weekend at Lehigh. So our daughter's on the wrestling team there. I mean, there's a pretty strong New Jersey contingent of athletes at Lehigh. And this is across all sports. I mean, places recruit locally. And so, football, basketball, wrestling, whatever the sport is, you got a big population base right there in New Jersey. And so you draw a lot of kids. So you're hanging out with a lot of these parents, and it's like, oh, where are you from? Well, I'm from Clifton, New Jersey. I'm from Parsippany, New Jersey. It's these towns. It's like, oh, yeah, our tight end was from Parsippany. We the TikTok diner there, just right off Route whatever in Clifton. Yeah, we used to hit that all the time, which, by the way, the TikTok diner is actually the name of the diner. So.
Okay. So what is it like? You hear these schools like Lehigh, Penn, Yale. I know Lehigh's not an Ivy League school, but do they get good crowds there? I mean, do people go watch Lehigh football?
It was, for one thing, Lehigh's I think they're ranked 9th in FCS.
Okay.
So picture a big crowd at like a North Dakota State game, South Dakota State game. It was like that.
Okay.
So, I'm trying to find a picture here. I don't know if this is going to translate on camera.
Probably won't.
But I sent you a couple of pictures from when we were there at the game. And I mean, it's pretty cool. They draw a nice crowd at the game.
So what shirt are you wearing today, by the way? Where'd you get that thing? That's a Pipeline shirt. Is that your vintage Pipeline shirt?
It is not. So this is our guy Dusty at Two Seam merch.
Okay.
So check out Two Seam merch. I think I forgot to post a link. I just keep going back to his website because they got, I love his stuff. It's all, I mean, obviously it says Pipeline instead of Huskers. So it's a takeoff of the old Huskers logo, with a little 94 stuck up there, which I love. He's got cool stuff like my flipping shirt.
Yeah.
That's Two Seam merch. I got the trap play. That's Two Seam merch. It's kind of original stuff.
He needs to get his stuff in Husker Hounds.
He really does.
Yeah.
Dusty, you need to hook up with Scott.
Yeah.
And
you need to meet Scott Strong.
Yeah. Figure something out, which I mean, I'm sure he's doing fine on his own. It's cool shirts. It's really original stuff, which I like.
Yeah, because you're not going to find it everywhere, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
But anyway, so I'll post a link afterwards just because I buy his shirts. Like I go to Husker Hounds, which, by the way, I was in Husker Hounds a week and a half ago.
Is that right?
Yeah, I went to the 84th Street store.
Did you sign any autographs? Anybody say, hey, can I have a picture with you?
So I was swinging through just because I'd grabbed a quick workout after work, got some dinner. It was like 8:30 at night. I mean, they were like, I can't remember what time they closed, but it was like half an hour before.
Yeah, they're like, what is this guy coming in for now? We want to close.
Which is nuts because there were still people on like a random, like legit, I think it was like a Monday night at 8:30. They still got people streaming through the place. But that, again, love the t-shirts. They got some cool vintage style stuff, which I really like. So I'm always checking that out. Anyway, so here's the Lehigh. That's the Lehigh side.
Oh, that's a really good crowd.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Yeah, that's cool.
So they pack it in for home games.
Yeah.
They really do, which, I mean, you've got a team that's top 10 in FCS.
And they like their football in Pennsylvania.
Oh, a little bit.
Yeah.
Football. So, you know what's weird? It's a great sports area. I mean, it's football, it's lacrosse, it's wrestling. They got a weirdly good soccer culture.
Yeah,
in that
I don't know what soccer culture is, and I don't care to know what soccer culture is.
Lots of running.
Yeah, lots of running. Yeah, that's all I care.
So, but no, it's a cool environment because you've got a school. It's a really solid school. Love their sports.
Yeah.
So they love their sports, and that's kind of fun because you've always got something to go check out there. But beautiful stadium, had a blast there. It was kind of, like I said, getting close to some old stomping ground. So I need to get my butt back out there because, like I said, I want to head back 45 minutes or so back into New Jersey, and because there's all these like little bars and restaurants where it's like your go-to place for this, your go-to place for this kind of pasta. I need to go see if those places are still there.
You got to go back and relive it. Hey, before we dive into the Michigan State game, just a reminder to go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you're new here. We'd like to have subscribers. If you are watching this and you are a subscriber, give this video a like, start leaving your comments and in the comments section, and we're off and running. It's interesting, after the Michigan loss, Ross, I call it Rob. I'm confusing you and Ross again. It's like the second week in a row I've done that.
We got the same great haircut.
Michigan fans are interesting. They loaded up our post-game, our last podcast. Michigan fans want to comment on everything. It was kind of funny to me. And
it is.
They are a rabid bunch, man. They must scour YouTube.
And it's Twitter as well.
Yeah, they scour YouTube and X and everything for anything that's being said about their program. It's like, damn, just don't take anything personal, dudes.
Dude, even when they're winning national titles, which is, I mean, I consider Michigan, they're like old school hardcore blue blood program in my mind. And I say that with respect. And it's, as much as I bitch and moan about that 97 season, okay, fine. You got a share of a national title then. You got a national title a couple of years ago. This is a team that's had a lot of success. And I don't know if I've ever seen a fan base that takes shit as personally
as Michigan,
when it's a good team.
Yeah.
When it's a good program. I mean, Michigan's one of those programs that can, I don't want to say rest on their laurels, but it's not like you look at Michigan and go like, yeah, they're okay. I mean, you can look at Okay, you can look at Kirk Ferentz, Iowa,
and go, they're okay.
Well, no, I was going to say, I mean, if you want to look,
because they're just okay.
Okay, Hawkeye fans, this is your boy right
They're
here.
just okay.
No, but I was going to say, like, over the last 25 years is kind of that's the high water era.
That's fair.
For the University of Iowa football program has been Kirk Ferentz's tenure there.
I don't know. Caden Fryer in the early 80s had some good crowd or good teams.
Was he better than Kirk Ferentz?
Yes, they were number one in the country.
So was Kirk Ferentz for half a season.
Number one? When were they number one?
Well, they were 15-0 or what was it?
12-0 regular season.
12-0 in 2015.
I don't think they ever got to number one.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty positive they never got to number one.
You know what? Number one doesn't count. You know what they were, Trav?
They were unbeaten.
They were undefeated.
There you go.
2015, go look it up. Iowa Hawkeyes, undefeated.
Undefeated regular season.
They hit number one under Fry. I get it. How long did they hold on to that shit?
Not very well because they beat Michigan.
Yeah, I remember watching.
I think
game.
Michigan was number one. Iowa was number two. Rob Houtland kicks a field goal to win the game, I believe, and I believe they were number one. And then they went to Ohio State and got beat.
I remember watching that game because I was at my grandfather's house in Burlington, Iowa. Hardcore Hawkeye folks when they kicked that field goal to win the game. And even I was rooting for Iowa at the time.
You know, a lot of people listening to this podcast go, "Are you ever going to talk about the Huskers?"
Which, by the way,
yeah, we're going to.
By the way, I guarantee you, us talking about Iowa kicking a field goal to beat Michigan in
1985.
Was that 85?
Yeah.
We're going to have Michigan fans pissed off about the fact we're talking about
Michigan fans will invade it. Well, it's not Michigan this week. Of course, Nebraska had the week off. So did Michigan State. Your second favorite team, or maybe third favorite team. I can't decide if Florida State's your second favorite team. Or
anymore. They've slipped down the list a little bit. I got Augie right here. So
it goes Nebraska.
Augustan is pretty high on the list.
So Nebraska, Augustan, and Michigan State now?
For football, probably.
Yeah. And
I still got a soft spot for Florida State, and I always will.
Yeah, but you're not sending money there anymore, and your daughter doesn't go to school there anymore, so you don't have to care as much.
That's true. Technically, she's an alum.
Yeah, she's an alum. But you've always in the past wore the Michigan State shirt onto the podcast.
I thought about it tonight. I mean, it was just like, I just gave Dusty some money. I'm gonna like show off the new Pipeline shirt. So.
It looks good, but
it's a sharp shirt.
So both teams come in at 3-1, and you know you come off a disappointing loss to Michigan. Is it good to have that week off, or would you rather just play right away?
Okay, we've talked about this ad nauseum.
Well, we rehash stuff here.
I know. I hate bye weeks. I'd rather just play. I mean, as a player. I hate that timing going away. You've gotten 4 games under your belt. You're kind of rolling a little bit. And even that Michigan game, I mean, there's stuff to be upset about with that Michigan game still. I still look at the offensive tackles. What are we doing there? The overall breakdowns and protection for Raiola. I like the fact that they stuck with the run game, but we need more than whatever it is, 1.7 yards a carry. Although, again, they got about 3 yards a carry if you remove the sacks from the equation. So the run game itself got them about 3 yards a carry. That needs to be 4.5. It just does. And so there's things to bitch and moan about there. There's things on defense where you think I'm looking at those big plays they gave up. And that's going to be something we should talk about again tonight because that's going to be a risk with this Michigan State team. So, but I mean, when you're coming off of a bye week like that, even with those things that I'm upset about with the loss to Michigan, I'm also sitting here going, okay, even with all of these things that you got to clean up, there was stuff that was actually really, really good that I liked about the Michigan game that now that we're coming up on week 2 away from the Michigan game, I'm going, okay, there's some stuff I do kind of feel good about. As bad as we looked in this area and this area and this area, the fact we were still in that game at the end of the game does count for a little something that I'm like, okay, we can hang with a team that is, in fact, by far and away more athletic than ours. So there's some value in that.
So Michigan State comes to town 3-1. They are also coming off a bye week. Their last game, they lost to USC. USC just lost at Illinois. I don't think Michigan State is as athletic as Michigan, but they got a hell of a quarterback. And we saw that last year.
Aiden Childs?
Yeah.
Did you know, fun fact, Clinton Child's son?
Really?
No, not at all. I'm totally making
Don't mess with me like that. I will believe that shit like there's no tomorrow.
Zero relation, but I had to do that. So.
Thank you. And I took and I'm like a fish. I just took the bait as soon as it hit the water.
The guy's a hell of an athlete. And there was a number of times he burned USC big time. He's one of those guys that if you give him the chance, he's going to hurt you. He's not super consistent, but he's got an arm. He's a big, tall pocket passer. And he's, again, and this is what scares me, he's not a bad runner.
And I was going to bring that up. I mean, he's not Bryce Underwood, right? At least I don't think he is. But
I don't think so. He's a better passer.
Okay.
I really do think that. I think his accuracy is way better than Underwood. And I think Underwood's got a very good arm. It's just he's still kind of figuring out the system. He's figuring out his wide receivers. I actually think Michigan State probably has better wide receivers than Michigan has. Keep an eye on Kelly. I think he's a very good wide receiver. But across the board, I think Michigan State has a better group of wide receivers than Michigan has. I think Underwood's a guy who, in terms of overall athletic ability, is maybe a little better than Childs, but not much. And I mean, Childs, I think, has a much better arm. And I think he's a better overall pocket passer. I think ultimately for Michigan, I think when you look at Underwood, you got a guy who they're gonna move him around a lot. They're gonna roll this guy out of the pocket quite a bit. They're gonna force defenses to get really, really creative with Underwood. Childs is more of a pocket passer. Now, and again, don't get me wrong. The guy 100% can run the ball. He's got some legit speed. He kind of wants to hang out back there and make a throw, though. And he's got the ability to do it. I'm kind of running down Nebraska's rest of Nebraska's schedule in my head. Other than is it Maeva from USC?
Yeah. And he's okay. I mean, USC lost Illinois because of defense. I mean,
Illinois they kind of managed to run the ball against them. I think Maeva from USC might be ever so slightly a more athletic guy than Childs, but outside of that, I think this is going to be the most athletic quarterback we see.
Well, yeah. Well, you got Nico Imalavala coming up from UCLA.
Yeah.
But UCLA's so bad.
It's hard to evaluate him right now just because of how bad everything is around him. You can take the best quarterback on the planet. I mean, there's a reason Troy Aikman went, 1-15 his rookie year. It's the same kind of thing. If everything around you sucks, you're going to suck.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's hard to evaluate him in that setting at UCLA right now. I think in terms of a guy who has some weapons that he can hit, this is going to be the most athletic quarterback we see. Now, the problem is I'm not sure the run game is there. They don't have the best offensive line on the planet, which is kind of shocking for Michigan State because for a bunch of years under D'Antonio, the offensive line was just the absolute foundation of those Michigan State teams under D'Antonio. It's kind of sad to see how far they've fallen in that regard. Give them time. I mean, I think they got a good coach. It's going to be interesting to see what they do over the next couple of years. But the bottom line is you've got a guy who can do some damage. And he did show that against USC.
I misspoke earlier in the podcast. I said Nebraska Michigan State played last year. It was actually 2023 when Mel Tucker was still the head coach at Michigan State. Or no, they had a fill-in that year, didn't they? Because I think Tucker got fired before the season started. Then Jordan Smith came in after that.
Has there been a guy that has made more money off of short-term contracts than Mel Tucker?
No, but Colorado, though I don't know how much they owed him.
Yeah, that's true.
They fired him with cause.
There was a firing with cause.
Yeah, firing with cause. We'll get into some coaching changes a little bit later on. But Nebraska, Michigan State play what would be called quintessential tough, rugged Big Ten football games. If you go back to the last 5 games, Rob, going back 2014, these games combined have been decided by 15 points. I mean, Michigan State won 20-17 in 2013. Michigan State in 2023, rather in 2021, they won by 3 in overtime. It was a 9-6 game in 18. It was a 39-38 game.
I was at that 2018 game. I think I still have a little bit of frostbite from that one.
I mean, just close. Do you expect another close game this week?
If it is, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it turns into a little bit of a shootout, which is kind of what happened with USC. I think Nebraska's the better team here.
I would agree with you.
The USC game kind of scares me because Michigan State put up 31. So and if you go back and look at that game, the thing that worries me here about Michigan State is I look back to the Michigan game. And I truly thought, okay, I had the Michigan game picked as a loss for Nebraska, but I thought it was going to be one of these things where Michigan would go just running plays, 4 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards, 7 yards, 5 yards, just this grind it out, sort of slow running game inevitability. And that's not what happened. Nebraska came out, like 9 out of 10 plays shut them down. It's just then Michigan would pop a 75-yard touchdown run. And that's what Michigan State does. And that's what they did to USC. And that's why I'm a little bit worried here.
But I think Nebraska's defense is a lot better than USC's defense. I mean, after watching that Illinois game, I'm like, that team is horrible on defense. Horrible.
Until we play them, I'm kind of withholding judgment at this point. And I understand what you're saying. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I do not think USC has remotely a good defense. But this is a Nebraska team that if Nebraska had beat Michigan, I'd feel way better about this. It's the fact that Nebraska has not yet shown that they're here ready to strap it up and play big boy football.
Well, this is going to be the week to do it then.
Well, they better. I mean, I don't think Michigan State's all that great of a team, but this is a team that Nebraska's got to beat. And I mean, you look at this run that Nebraska's got here right now. When you look at, you've got Michigan State, Northwestern, Maryland.
It goes Michigan State, Maryland, Minnesota, Northwestern, USC.
And I mean, Minnesota's always going to worry me. They just are. They always, for some reason, it doesn't matter who Nebraska's coach is. Minnesota crawls up inside our heads, and they figure out a way to win the game. They're the Iowa of the North.
Okay. Interesting way to put it, but okay.
Somehow they figure out a way to beat Nebraska most of the time. So, I mean, Minnesota scares me. Maryland scares me. Loxley, where does he find these quarterbacks? He's got a true freshman quarterback who, productivity-wise, might be better than Underwood.
It's interesting, and he finds good quarterbacks, and
and it's probably, I mean, he probably just went out and found some DC area kid, signed him, and the kid's lighting it up right now for him.
Yeah, I mean, but you look at, the way USC played against Illinois, I mean, Maryland's going to be a tough game. Minnesota is, but I think there's not a team left, with the exception of Penn State, that Nebraska can't beat.
And I would agree with that. Now, the problem I have is I look at the Michigan game and I go, okay, Nebraska could have beat Michigan.
Could have.
If they had scored on that opening drive, which the fact that they didn't get a touchdown on that opening drive is still stuck in my head. They get a short field. They don't score. They go for it on fourth down, don't get it. Little embarrassing. Or honestly, that was pretty damn embarrassing. But they don't get it. They're like, fine, we'll take the short field. We're going to stop these guys, get the short field. They do get what should have been a chip shot field goal. They miss it. And all of a sudden you're sitting there going, okay, there's a bunch of points we just left on the field. And if you go back and look at it, I mean, if Nebraska scores on that opening drive, it's not a short field on the following play. So I only count those first two drives as a loss of 7 points. But then you have the play where, I mean, was it Ja'Cory Barney that stepped out of bounds?
Trying to think. I don't
Nebraska's
remember.
Wide receiver steps out of bounds in the end zone, comes back in, catches the pass, illegal catch, not a touchdown. I mean, there's another 7 points. So they settle for a field goal instead. So there's a loss of 4 points. So, I mean, there was 11 points that Nebraska definitely left. There was minimum 11 points that they definitely left on the field in that Michigan game. And that's something that worries me about the current state of affairs in Nebraska. And when I say that, I'm talking about the last 15 years.
And I mean, and that's the difference between being good or even great, right? And with this team, difference between being good, because they're a good football team, but they're not great yet.
Yeah. Well, this is the difference between, I don't remember what season it was. Remember Scott Frost had that one year where it's like they worked the stats on it. And
it was like every year under Scott Frost.
Well, where basically you looked at the statistics and realized that there was like this 1 in 1,300 chance that a team has these stats but finishes with a losing record. And it's like, well, yeah, we're going to be that 1 in 1,300. Sure enough. So that's the thing that worries me about these guys is that now here's, I like Rule. I think Nebraska's on the right trajectory. I'm just saying I don't think they're there yet because there's this team mentality where you've got to come into a game like Michigan and it's the opening drive and you got a 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line. That should be that should be an instant touchdown.
So are they not there physically and athletically or mentally?
Well, I think 90.
It's a fair question.
Boy, that's a good question. I was going to say that's 90% mental. That's like 60-40 mental in my mind.
Okay.
I think the majority of it's mental. I look at some of the games that I've watched over the last week or two, including the Nebraska-Michigan game, and it's one of these things where I look at our line, both sides of the ball. This is not an O-line rant. It's both sides of the ball. And I look at it and I just think, God, we're just not there yet. We don't have that ability where
to dominate?
Yeah, it's a 4th and 1, 4th and 2. Game's on the line, and you need to go get it, which for this Nebraska team, opening drive, 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line, guess what? For this Nebraska team, opening drive, that's game on the line level material right there.
Yeah.
Because you can look at that Michigan game and go, you know, if Nebraska scores right there, I'm not saying it's guaranteed we win the game, but we probably win that game. And I'm blanking on the guy's name. It's the offensive coordinator for Michigan. But he made that comment after the game where he was like, yeah, we weren't ever worried. We knew we were physically dominating them up front the entire game. Guess what? He's right.
Yeah.
The guy's right. And here's the thing. If Nebraska scores on their opening drive, they probably win the game. And his comment at the press conference is, yeah, I really thought we should have won that game because we physically dominated them up front the whole game. The fact Nebraska lost, the fact that Nebraska could have won doesn't change the fact that Michigan physically dominated us up front the entire game. That's why I look at this run of games coming up. When you look at Michigan State and Maryland and Minnesota and Northwestern and USC.
Northwestern's bad, dude.
Okay, that's going to be a win. I totally get it. I'm just saying there's a lot of these games outside of Northwestern. Nothing's really much of a gimme on any given day.
Northwestern and UCLA are gimmies.
I'm not ready to say that because I look at Iowa last year, and I remember not even a month ago, I pulled back up the team stats from that Nebraska-Iowa game.
But we're not talking Iowa. We're talking UCLA and a really bad winless UCLA team. They're bad.
That was a bad Iowa team last year. We lost.
Not as well. You did. That's fair. And you lost to Iowa too, and you lost to UCLA last year. But
and we should have beat UCLA last year.
I'm just saying this year, UCLA is horrible. Hey, we do want to remind you, Dr. Rob brought up Husker Hounds a little bit earlier. Husker Hounds, proud supporter of the Doc Talk podcast. If you need big red gear, if you need, it's getting into the fall season, need a sweatshirt, need a stocking cap, need some volleyball gear, Scott at Husker Hounds has you covered. Just go to the Superstore at 84th and Center. They got another one out west at the Lakeview Plaza. And you can always shop online at huskerhounds.com. Again, anything you want, from yard decorations to baby clothes to polos to sweatshirts to quarter zips, they've got it all. To memorabilia, maybe we should have Scott just come in and say, "Hey, give us some memorabilia for the studio," and we can hang some of that up and say courtesy of Husker Hounds. But again, Husker Hounds, 2 locations in the Omaha area, and at huskerhounds.com. Our buddy Connor Orr told me. Did you see this text from Connor Orr? He was at one of his kids' games. Honest to God, do you want proof that advertising works? You want to know why you should be a sponsor of the Doc Talk podcast? Because people hear about you. Connor's hanging out, gives his card to somebody. The guy goes, "Wait, are you Connor Orr from the Doc Talk podcast?" And Connor just laughed and was like, he said his wife was uber annoyed about it. But yeah.
I love the fact because the text he sent where it's like, "Are you Connor Orr from the Doc Talk podcast?"
Yeah, it's like, we talk about you every single week, and we tell people when you need a lawyer, you call Connor Orr at the Orr Law Group at orlawgrp.com. Proof that sponsorship of a podcast works and validate it. It's always great when it happens to the advertiser, because then he's like, "Oh, I'm glad I'm spending that money." Exactly. Best money he's ever spent. But see our good buddy, Connor Orr. And if you need to wear a really good pair of shoes, and you're not wearing your Gdefys today. Why the hell aren't you wearing your Gdefys? Really disappointing there.
I just came over here. I don't need my big comfy shoes on. I can just do my slip-ons over here.
I like the fact that now that we're in the studio again.
Yeah.
Producer Owen is actually part of the show.
Well, we got to get him a camera now too, right?
Yeah.
We got to get him a camera.
Well,
we got to figure out this television, why the thing keeps going to
black. We'll
black.
figure it out.
Yeah, little by little, we'll figure everything out.
Buffering.
It's
a new studio. I mean, it's like everything down here is beautiful, but there's going to be some glitches.
So, Owen was just out in California. He was in Dallas.
Hey, how was San Diego?
San Diego is awesome.
Sunny and 70 every day.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's hard to beat. One of my coworkers, Kyle Ringenberg, Kyle's former Nebraska tight end. It's proof that like 97% of all anesthesiologists in the state of Nebraska, former Huskers.
Yeah, well, because
it's a thing. It just is. Got a daughter who goes to school out in Orange County, so they were out there. This is, I think, second time they've been out to watch games out there. And I mean, it's one of these things. He goes out there Friday night. He texts the rest of the guys in the group a photo. They're in an Angels game, and it's just like, it's beautiful. I mean, it's clear skies. It's 70 degrees, beautiful sunset, baseball game. It's like perfection out there.
I don't know why I'm not a California fan. I've been several times. I just don't like California.
San Diego kicks ass.
Okay.
But I got one other thing is I show up to the wedding in Dallas on Thursday, and 3 people come up to me and they're like, "Hey, how was San Diego?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it was great. How'd you even know I was there?" And they say, "Oh, we heard about it on the podcast."
That's fun. People listen to this podcast.
That's outstanding.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which every place has its stuff to love or hate. You can't beat the weather out there. I'll say that.
But yeah. So if you want to wear a pair of Gdefy shoes like I do,
I got my. Hey, what am I wearing?
you're. Rob's got his Gdefys on.
Got my Gdefys
good looking
on.
Gdefy shoes. If you want a pair of
They're
Gdefy
comfy.
shoes, my entire family my daughter Mary wears Gdefys in New Orleans. My mother and father-in-law have like multiple pair of Gdefys. And we want you to wear a pair of Gdefys. Go to gdefy.com. That's GDEFY.com. Insert the promo code DocTalk50 all caps when you check out on an order of $100 or more, and you're going to get a nice little rebate. That's DocTalk50 all caps when you check out on an order of $100 or more. Have you been to a game down at Memorial Stadium yet this year?
I have not yet.
Well, and I'm only bringing this up because I know Troy Dannon has addressed it on the radio show that the first week against Akron was an absolute disaster when it came to concession sales and beer sales. But I got a picture from the Michigan game. I got to be honest with you. It's a shit show.
Is it really?
It's a shit show. People were sending me photos of I don't know. It took them forever to get a beer. Yeah. It took them over 45 minutes to an hour to get a beer.
They got to figure that out. I will say this. One of the arguments against it, and I didn't think this would be an issue.
Infrastructure.
But one of the arguments against it was that we don't have the infrastructure for it. And I didn't really think it'd be that big of a problem because the places I've gone for Nebraska athletic events where they've had beer sales, it's like Pinnacle Bank Arena.
Yeah. But that's set up to sell beer.
And it's set up for it. So I suppose I could see that. I just didn't think, how hard can it be to do that?
So since I haven't been to a game and Rob hasn't been to a game, do us a favor. If you're listening to this podcast or watching this podcast right now, if you're at the Michigan State game this weekend, send us, if it's small crowds, let us know. If it's a big crowd and you're stuck in a beer line, just send us the photos.
Well, and part of my question is, are they doing, is it cans?
Yes.
Is it draft?
Cans.
That's ridiculous. So my wife and I, we had some friends who were incredibly gracious, got us hooked up with Nebraska Creighton volleyball tickets at the CHI Center. And again, I understand you've got a venue that's set up to sell alcohol at sporting events. But it's one of these things where it's as simple as they'll bring in basically like your glass front refrigerators. They've got legitimately, it's like 10 of them on wheels that they just line up. You come in a roped off line. You go down the row of refrigerators till you get, each one has like a different craft beer. There's like 3 or 4 craft beers.
Is it grab and go or is it like a vending machine?
It's grab and go.
Grab and go?
You literally, and now here's the other thing. It's limited two per payer.
That's fine.
So I don't have a problem with that. But you've got like 3 or 4 craft beers. You got 3 or 4 Coors Light, Miller Lite, Bud Lights, one in each. And then you've got another 3 that have like all your different, like Truly's, White Claws, other seltzers. So you just go down the line, grab the 2 you want. It's literally open door, grab 2, hit the station at the end, whip out your phone, Apple Pay, keep walking. And it's like people are ripping through there. It's 10 people per minute at least.
And I know they put the stadium project on hold, but this is why that stadium needs work because you have to build the infrastructure for this. And again, you haven't been, I haven't been. So we're going off what people have said to us and have sent to us. And I feel sorry for Troy Dannon. I really do, because I appreciate the innovativeness, the willingness to sell beer after waiting so long to do it. You're just dealt with an old stadium. And I almost said shitty stadium. It looks good from the outside, but
it's old.
It's old.
It's old. The infrastructure there is not great.
I mean, they polished the turd with the facade on the outside, but the bones are still the bones.
I totally get it. It's just I keep sitting here thinking, it's like I look at CHI Center and I'm like, the fastest moving lines are not at built-in infrastructure. It's these movable giant beer fridges with glass front doors. You just walk up, open it up, grab what you want, keep on going down to the pay station, and there you go.
Do you think people would ever support a new stadium in Nebraska? And you wouldn't even have to build it off-site. Now, if you could find a different place to play, and I'm going to use Kansas as an example. Kansas went to play at Arrowhead Stadium for a year, but during that year, they tore down their stadium and built a brand new one in the same spot, and it's absolutely beautiful. This next year, they're going to finish the visitor side. Do you think Husker fans are just too like, you can't tear down Memorial Stadium?
Boy, that's a good question, because we've talked about this on the show before.
Yeah, but
the last couple of years. Man, I don't know. The problem is where do they play instead?
That's a good question.
It's not like you're going over to Seacrest Field, which seats 8,000 people.
No, you could go to Arrowhead Stadium. You could.
No, it's 3 hours away, dude.
It's 3 hours. 1 year? 2 years?
When the bulk of your state is within 45 minutes of Memorial Stadium, you can't, no. There's no way that shit works.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why it worked for Kansas, because they could go play. They played like their really bad non-conference games at the soccer stadium, and then they went and played the big games at Arrowhead Stadium.
And here's the other thing. I mean, when you think about, where do 75, it's probably way more than that. Where does 85 to 95% of KU fans live?
In Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
Go to Arrowhead. No big deal. It's probably a closer drive for the majority of their fans.
Yeah. And again, this is a pipe dream. I don't ever think they're going to tear down Memorial Stadium. If you did, you'd have to build it off-site, maybe, on the other side. I don't know where you'd build it. And then that'd be a nice piece of property for the campus, but I don't think people would accept that. I think people are too holding on to, Memorial Stadium.
And I do get that. But the thing that's interesting about this is that there was a renovation plan.
Yeah, massive.
And that was the kicker is it was all under Trev. And that plan's been put on hold now.
Yeah.
And there's reasons for that.
Yeah, and I give Troy credit for that. I'm not saying it's the right move. I think eventually you're going to have to do something. Yeah, from a restroom standpoint, from a fan experience standpoint, and I'm not just talking high rollers. So, we're talking low seats. But the overall fan experience, listen, an LED light supply or light show at fourth quarter is only going to take you so far until they're like, hey, I need to take a piss and I want to get a beer fast.
Yeah, which that's why I go up to Augustana. It's a great fan experience. The thing is, I think looking at this, something's going to have to happen at some point. And the thing that's tough about it as well, too, when you move away from Memorial Stadium, because right now with 90,000+ seats, there are seats that are very affordable there. When they do, at some point when that place gets renovated, and you look at what the plan was, what Trev had put together, and again, this isn't I'm not like trying to tout Trev's vision. I'm just saying there was a plan. I thought it was a fairly good plan. It dropped the capacity down to back down to 76 or 78,
something like that, because it was taking down the entire South Stadium and rebuilding that. and then you were going to renovate the restrooms and all that other stuff, and then you were going to do the West Stadium was going to be like all brand new on certain levels and the concourses, and stuff like that.
And there was going to be a lot more of like the theater style seats, that kind of thing, which reduces seat numbers.
Yeah, which is fine because you're going to get a premium. You can reduce seat numbers, but you can charge a hell of a lot more money for certain things. I get that,
but it also puts the price out of the range for a lot of people. So the thing is that it's going to turn into an opportunity. It's going to be, if you got money, you can go have season tickets and watch a game there. Otherwise, you kind of lose out on that. So whenever that renovation does happen, I mean, the whole clientele level kind of bumps up a bit. I mean, it's not going to be every man's ability to go to a game there anymore. I
know some people didn't like the price tag of it, but I can tell you the longer you wait, the more it's going to cost. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. I mean, when this thing happened, you're going to probably spend $5, $6, $7, maybe $800 million on a renovation. I know. That's why you go, are you better off building a new stadium for $1 billion?
Or do you say screw it and pour it all into NIL?
Well, there's one thing Nebraska doesn't have a problem with, and that's money. Nebraska does not have a money problem. Other schools have a money problem. Nebraska doesn't have a money problem at all. It'll be interesting to see what kind of money problem Arkansas has. Fired Sam Pittman, so he becomes the fourth Power 5 coach to be Power 4 coach to get fired.
And we're basically 1/3 of the way into the season.
So we've had UCLA fire its coach. We've had Oklahoma State fire Mike Gundy. Virginia Tech. And now Sam Pittman. And ironically, Bobby Petrino takes over. He was fired from there in 2012, riding a motorcycle.
That's like zero surprise, though.
Having a hot chick on the back when he said she wasn't there. He now says he wants the job. Is Arkansas a good job? And I want to ask this question, too. Will we see other Power 4 coaches leave schools to go to other Power 4 schools? Because I can make the argument now, there's so much parity that you can win wherever you're at. It takes the right people. Matt Campbell's just not going to leave it. There was a time when if you succeeded at Iowa State, you were like, oh, I can't wait to get out of here. Matt Campbell's not going anywhere.
Well, it's not like, I'm blanking on the guys. I mean, it's not like Dan McCarney had success and got out and went and took a better gig.
True.
Who succeeded McCarney? I just blanked.
That would have been Gene Chizik.
Not Chizik. Who was after
Paul
Chizik?
Rhodes.
Thank you. Paul Rhodes is whom. It's not like Paul Rhodes had a bunch of success and took the next best offer. I mean, a lot of those guys stayed there.
Yeah, Matt Campbell's had opportunities. I mean, Urban Meyer even said it on Fox Big Noon Saturday that Matt Campbell called him and was going to take a job. I'm assuming it was the USC job because there was many rumors that he was up for the U. And Urban Meyer told him to take it. He decided not to. But I just look at all these Power 4 jobs. Lane, there was a time when you would leave Ole Miss in a second. Yeah, I mean, and SEC was incestuous. They would just hire their own, right? You'd go from Mississippi State to Florida. Lane Kiffin now is like, why do I leave Ole Miss? There's no reason to leave Ole Miss.
Yeah, but I also think there's a little bit of a genius there on Lane Kiffin's part. And the reason I say that is because he's in a situation where he's got a good fit.
I would agree.
Recruiting's there. Is it Alabama? Is it Georgia? Is it Florida? Is it one of those schools that you look at and you think, LSU's another, that you look at and go, this should instantaneously be a national title contender from a facilities, infrastructure, money, recruiting standpoint? Ole Miss is maybe a half a step behind those schools, but good Lord. And I would not have thought he would be a great fit at Ole Miss. And he has been.
Yeah, he's been a great fit. I mean, he could have had the Auburn job a couple of years ago, and a lot of people thought his foot was out the door, and he decided to stay. I think it was the best decision he made.
And I think staying at Ole Miss, if I'm Lane Kiffin, and maybe he has done this and maybe he does have one, but if I'm Lane Kiffin, I'm going to the university and saying, you know what, let's lock in something for like 15 years.
I think it's illegal in the state of Mississippi.
Is it really?
Yeah, you can only be like on a 4-year deal.
Whatever it is, he needs to max it out. And if I'm him, I never leave. And now, the other thing as well, too, and this is about Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. It's in reference to Matt Campbell at Iowa State. Sometimes you hit a place
and it's just right.
Where it's just right, but even more so, you don't have to win a national title.
Oh, you know what, Rob? You're right. You don't have to win a national title, but I think the expectation
you need to be good.
You need to make the college football playoff.
In this day and age, you do. I'll give you that. But I mean, in the big picture, pre-playoff, pre-playoff, 14 playoff, 12 to 16 team playoff. When you look at a school like Nebraska, you look at Alabama, you look at Georgia, you look at Florida, you look at Michigan, Ohio State, USC. At some point, if you've got a coach who's punching out 10-win seasons, but not competing for the national title, at some point, they're going to shit can you.
Well, let's use James Franklin as an example. Not saying he's on the hot seat at Penn State. The dude is 4-21 against top 10 teams, 1-18 against top 10 Big Ten teams, and got beat at home by Oregon. People are kind of like, what are we doing here? Are we just plateaued?
That. If that was any other place other than Penn State, I think he'd be on the hot seat. If that was USC, he'd be on the hot seat. If that was Florida, he'd be on the hot seat. If that was Auburn, he'd be on the hot seat.
And that's the reason Mike Gundy got fired. And there was a great article in Sports Illustrated about Mike Gundy, and they used Dabo Swinney as an example. Like in 2015, Dabo Swinney said, football is no different than business. You have to keep innovating. You have to keep growing. You have to keep pushing the boundaries, because if you don't, you plateau and then you fall off a cliff. Mike Gundy fell off a cliff because he thought that he could win his way. He didn't want to invest in the NIL. And you don't have to like the portal. You don't have to like NIL, but you just need to realize it's the way it is.
If you don't embrace it, you're going to...
And I think Matt Rule has more than embraced it. He is a content machine. He is a CEO more than he is a head coach. And I mean that in the most respectful way. He surrounds himself with good assistant coaches, but he's the face of the program, and he has his way. But the truth is, Nebraska fans expect to be in the college football playoff, and he's not there in 5 or 6 years. People are going to be like, what are we doing here?
Well, and at the same time, too, I think people really, really want to see a trend.
Yes.
So far, we're seeing that, and I think when you look at the rest of Nebraska's schedule, I still think an 8-win season, which I had them picked to go 8-4.
10 is still possible.
It is. 8-win is super likely. 10 is possible. We're on a good path. If that pathway plateaus out, that's where you're going to start to hear the grumbling.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Now, if Nebraska went, let's say weird shit happens, which it does to this team. Let's say they only win 7 games this year.
That's bad.
And let's say they come back out and win 7 games next year. All of a sudden, people are going to be screaming for Matt Rules.
100%.
So if you lose that upward trend, there's going to be some grumbling.
But I don't think that's going to happen. I still, now looking at it and watching USC, and they get USC at home, Penn State's a loss to me because you're playing at Penn State. I would be shocked. I know.
I look at games like the Iowa game last year where Nebraska absolutely decimated Iowa on the field and lost the game. Though that's the thing, that there's still a little of that DNA in this program, and until...
What would make you change your mind on that? Beating Iowa?
No, I mean, I think if they knock off Michigan... It's going to take a bit to convince me, because every season's different. Every schedule is different. If Nebraska this season had knocked off Michigan,
you'd say the DNA changed.
Like nukes Michigan State, nukes Maryland, nukes Minnesota, and obviously nukes Northwestern. and then goes out to Happy Valley and loses a 1-score game, pushes Penn State to the brink, and then comes back and nukes Iowa, I'd be sitting here going like, okay, a corner got turned.
If they win 10 games this year, does a corner turn for you?
It depends on how they do it, but I think if they win 10, and I'm saying, I'm asking you, does that include the bowl game?
No, it's the regular season.
They win 10 regular season games. That means our only other loss would be Penn State.
Yeah. Is that turning a corner for you?
It's a small corner turn because it's the two best teams on the schedule you lost to.
Yeah, and I got news for you. You can win 10 games, but you're not going to be in the college football playoff mix. Not with
that 10-2 team. No.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Ohio State, you got Oregon, you got Penn State.
Unless a number of other teams all of a sudden lose 3-4 games and Nebraska's sitting there, you're kind of like that one loner with only 2 losses in the mix. Then I could see him sneaking in. And again, it goes by how many teams from each conference and how much they stick to that. If they sit here and go, okay, 4 Big Ten teams get in, and that's it, then I don't think a 10-2 Nebraska team gets in.
Not with the schedule. Not with the.
I think you're gonna have Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, and maybe Indiana if Indiana keeps playing okay football.
Indiana's got a tough road ahead, but and Indiana didn't impress me against Iowa, but I think Iowa does what Iowa does and just kind of makes people play bad. I mean, it's a winning strategy. It works sometimes, but
I don't know if I've ever heard anybody actually say it that way.
Am I wrong?
But that is like the truthiest truth of all freaking time, dude.
Going back to the original question, is Arkansas a good job? I mean, but it's kind of like Nebraska. You're the only game in town.
Yeah, I was going to say this, and it kind of hurts to say it. They're kind of the Nebraska of the SEC. They've got a rabid fan base. Their facilities are great.
Yeah, and Fayetteville's beautiful.
Fayetteville's great. They put money into the program. It's not a program devoid of funds. It's just, God, they just can't quite get it done. And they've been trying in that conference ever since they left the Southwestern Conference.
No, I mean, Petrino had them winning. He just did something stupid.
Yeah.
You don't have an affair with somebody who works in your office and then get on a motorcycle with her and wreck and then lie about it. And now he may get hired again.
He could have just stopped with the don't have an affair.
That would have been a good place to stop. You're right.
There, he would have been fine.
But he's 64 years old, so, I mean, but Cignetti's 63.
Saban was coaching well into his 70s.
Luke Fickell get fired after this week when they get beat at Michigan?
Ooh. I still look at the numbers there. That's the thing. It's like, do they generate the funds? Because what was it? 25 million?
Yeah, I forget what the number is.
It's a big chunk of change.
There's money in Wisconsin, though.
I do think he gets fired. It's just, I think it's kind of a question of when and how bad do they need to look before it happens.
I think here's where it gets fired.
Because if you go back to Scott Frost, and I remember the discussion on this, Trev was hoping to wait until later in the season or even after the season to fire Frost. They lost to Georgia Southern, and it was one of those.
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. That was so bad of a loss. You got to pay the $15 million to make him go away. Because if you looked at that buyout, they were like 2 weeks away from that buyout. I mean, shrinking significantly. So it kind of depends on that when I look at Wisconsin. If he can have a quote unquote good loss against Michigan, I think that saves him for a few weeks. I think he gets fired. It just becomes a matter of when and how bad does the loss have to look.
I think he gets fired after the Iowa. If Iowa beats them at home, because they get Iowa at home, and that's a rivalry. That's a rivalry. So if you lose to Michigan, which they're going to, and then you get beat at home to Iowa, I think it's all over. Now I have to ask: is Wisconsin a good job?
Again, well, I don't think they've got the money that they've got money. They don't have the money that a lot of other programs do. And I think, you think about the culture at Nebraska. Wisconsin has this Barry Alvarez culture that unless you go up there and just say, okay, we're going to have monstrous offensive linemen, we're going to recruit a bunch of stud running backs, we're going to run the ball, we're going to have an efficient quarterback and really, really, really good defense. If they don't stick to that culture, they're not going to win there. It's just the way that program is built.
All right, Dr. Rob. Rare Monday night recording, so we appreciate you coming over on a Monday night.
Appreciate you having me over on a Monday night.
We got a stock beer fridge for you.
I might drink one more of Tony's beers before I leave.
Are you hungry?
Why, are you going to feed me?
Well, Anjanette made a Mississippi pot roast.
By the way, your guys' kitchen smelled amazing when I came downstairs.
It's pretty good. Pretty good. Remember, do your shopping at Husker Hounds. If you need a lawyer, go see Connor Orr at the Orr Law Group, orlawgrp.com. And if you want comfortable feet, you wear Gdefy Shoes at gdefy.com. If you are looking for something to listen to in the morning, I'm going to give myself a shameless self-plug and go to therushladio.com. You can hear me from 6 to 8 every single morning.
And Ross. My alter ego.
Now, you may not like all the Iowa State talk, but we veer off in a lot of different discussions.
They're right next door. You got a lot of Husker and Cyclone fans.
I actually bring up Nebraska quite a bit. So it's, again, rushradio.com, 6 to 8, Monday through Friday. For Dr. Rob Zatechka, for Owen Justice, I'm Travis Justice. We'll talk to you next week on the Husker Doc Talk Podcast.